our music, MC, My Supremacy Records, 09. Yeah, building the hood, I'm about to build it up. We're building the hood, I'm about to build it up. We're building the hood, I'm about to build it up. Yeah, we about to build it up. Our music, come on, we about to build it up. MC, that's right. Yeah, we about to build it up. My Supremacy.
Welcome to this segment of Pleasant Perspectives. As you know, I'm your host, Michael W. Pleasant, and we have a very special guest in studio. We're actually joined by Vivian Van Story. She is the founder and CEO of the Community Land Trust Housing Development Organization. And that's a mouthful, but we're here to discuss the organization and how it's making a powerful and an important impact on our neighborhoods. Vivian, welcome to the program. How are you?
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm glad that you're here. So you are the founder, the director, the CEO of this organization. Tell us a little bit about the purpose of your organization.
Community Land Trust Corporation purpose and primary objective is quite comprehensive. It's plan, design, and management of the public outdoor environment. But we are incorporated to do everything because we are the community, so our needs is quite extensive.
All right. Now, when you say the outdoor public, give us some specifics. Are you speaking of specific areas in North Philly? Are you speaking in areas of downtown? Give us some specifics.
Well, we're housed in North Central Philadelphia at present.
Okay.
And we started in North Central Philadelphia because of the neglect of the it looks like a third world country in the United States.
Certain parts of North.
Certain parts, and that's right below Temple University.
Okay.
And we have grand institutions within our area, but the community itself, between Oxford and Girard, between Ridge and Broad, has been developed since decades. The last housing development was in 1983, which they developed 23 solar houses, and I happen to have one of the townhouses there. I burn 2 quarts of wood a year.
Okay. Now, when you speak of managing that specific location, what exactly do you do with some of these properties and some of these lots, if you will, some of these abandoned lots?
Well, we clean them. We started working with the Department of Corrections, cleaning for volunteerism, cleaning the lots because the weeds had grown so that the peach tree bloomed and would bear fruit.
Okay.
And we have berry trees there on the open spaces that the city had not managed in decades.
Sure.
So because they built 23 houses around all of these vacant lots, and I happen to have a corner house, I looked across the street. I said it would have to be out of my mind to move right here again.
Okay.
And so I just ventured out and started this picking up trash, and I won first prize in the city of Philadelphia, large flower garden with the Horticulture Society of Philadelphia Green.
Okay.
And then I joined the Philadelphia Green Gardens Committee, and I was chair in the 80s, and I won first prize at different times from 83 to 86 large flower gardens.
For your garden. Now, you spoke of the green space. You spoke of, again, converting these abandoned lots to lots that actually look like, pretty well kept up gardens. You also have some interesting ideas with getting block captains involved.
Yes.
So share with us some of those ideas.
Well, Community Land Trust was the first organization in the city to honor block captains that had 25 years or more service.
Okay.
So on the green space in the 1200 block of 15th Street through Burn Street, we have a celebration, and we called it Welcome to Green Hills. An urban initiative study determined that it was called Green Hills years ago.
Okay.
So we honored the block captains. Welcome to Green Hill, and we honored these block captains. And at that time, John Street was a council person. He came and he spoke at that particular event.
Now, what further ideas do you have to engage the block captains even more?
We have community meetings to inform them about environmental issues. And we started an endowment fund with the Philadelphia Foundation in 2001 so that we could, this fund would help the block captains to get paid for some of their services that they would do instead of just doing this for nothing, getting a stipend to do it, because we have some older block captains that need some extra money with their income.
Sure.
And we would like to give some CDCs some of these funds because they need those funds to help, clean this environment that is neglected.
Keeping it clean, you mentioned earlier the Department of Corrections, so I imagine that's ex-offenders that you're
Yes.
trying to get involved.
We have gotten them involved.
Really? Yeah.
We
How's that?
started working with them in 1997.
Okay.
And actually, they come daily every day, Monday through Thursday, except Friday, Saturday, and Sunday,
Okay.
to clean, pick up trash, mow lawns, cut hedges,
Yeah.
etc. Whatever we need.
How many, approximately, how many ex-offenders do you have involved in the program?
Oh my goodness, I can't. It's so many of
Okay.
them. Daily, like this morning, I had 5.
Okay.
Some days I'll have 15.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
it's daily. It depends.
Okay, understood. What are you doing with the youth? I know that the youth
Oh,
are
the youth
involved.
we have. Last summer in 2011, we had a program for the youth to a conservation corps.
Okay.
And we did a survey, 179 and 181 legislative district to see how many open spaces and neglected lots that were throughout that particular area.
Okay.
But we didn't have enough funding to continue that program. We were given $50,000 from the state to do that, DCD.
Okay.
And that's the first a large amount of money we ever had since
Okay.
our inception.
Yeah.
But we didn't still have enough because they cut back on the programs for that. Mhm.
Okay. And the youth come how often?
Well, we have programs for youths. We used to work with the school the Board of Education,
Yeah.
summer programs, during summer 6-week programs. During the summer months, we usually have the youth program.
Okay. You mentioned earlier that you're in the north central part of the Philly right now,
Yes.
which is right beneath Temple University.
Yes.
How do we get your organization into other parts of the city, whether it's West Philly, where there's some abandoned lots, whether it's South Philly? What do you need in order to grow your organization?
We need for them to invest in this environmental fund that we set up with Philadelphia Foundation.
Okay.
If we said we charge 3% to the developers, landlords that are making income off of, there's Temple students or maybe you just have a landlord that's have income. We would say, give us 3% a yearly so that we'll put some of it in our environmental fund and we'll give some to the CDCs or in that area. Or if it's those CDCs and their block captains, we would like to give them a stipend. If they are no longer in existence, then the Philadelphia Foundation, because whatever we start, that fund will build over long term.
Yes.
And see, we're not looking for the government anymore.
Okay.
We would like private funding here. And we're not saying that we don't want any government money.
Sure.
But the funding that we have becomes sustainable.
Okay.
We'll become sustainable and put it on the market.
From private donors,
That's correct.
private folks
That's
who want to
correct.
give to you?
That's correct.
Okay.
So the land will be
So
sustainable.
you mentioned the organization, which is right in Temple University's backyard, right literally in the backyard of Temple University. And what's interesting about Temple is that they're constantly throwing up buildings, maybe 2 or 3 buildings at a time, but they're not always using the skilled labor of the residents. And we were there a couple of weeks ago doing some protesting. So give us your thoughts on that whole issue of Temple not using the skilled residents that actually live in the neighborhood where they're building these buildings.
Right. Well, Temple say that they are not the ones that are developing. That the developers, they have allowed the developers to come in instead of them developing all of the housing. They are developing a big store. I think it's a 20-some story building right at Cecil B. Moore and Broad Street. But with the community, you have private developers are developing, and they're using cheap labor. People may not even have the green card here. So, as the community itself, we created a sustainable fund, environmental fund, that we would like to hire our own people to work.
Sure.
And with this fund, if people would donate towards our fund, and it's held by Philadelphia Foundation. Some of the money would go to Philadelphia Foundation, some would go to the CDCs in the area and block captains to work to create jobs for the community, to keep it clean, safe, environment, just like Center City District here.
And let's talk about the sustainability a little bit further. That means you really don't want any input from the government. You really don't want any monies from the government. What do you mean by?
We want money from the government. We don't want to depend on the government. See, we don't want to make a welfare off the land.
Okay.
We want to be sustainable, and we want to put it on the market so the investors can invest into our fund. That whatever we decide to do and create there, it will go throughout the legacy of Philadelphia. That we will not go back to land neglect, housing neglect, safety neglect. We will be sustainable to take care of that ourselves. And if America cannot become sustainable, if the people, and we have to depend on government funds. And look what's happening in Washington now. They vote that we may not get paid. So what are we going to do? Okay. If we can't become sustainable, something's wrong.
Yeah, I agree. I guess you got 2 or 3 pages and a nice big spread with you sitting on that stone in your park. Well, tell us a little bit about the article.
The article was written because of Temple is it's not Temple, it's the TAPA. It's an organization of developers that formed 5013C to do as a service district like Center City District. But only with this, they will control the open space. They will tax the landlords 7% taxes on top of what the city taxes 9%. And they had no community participation in this. And they say they don't know Vivian. And when I had a meeting with them and told them about this is what we wanted to do, but not tax the residents, we just need for them to give a certain amount for our environmental fund.
So they want to come in, kind of take over the whole process and not even involve the community.
They didn't involve the community.
Wow.
And it's already at the Planning Commission. Okay. And because of the article, they were exposed. And that now the whole community know about what they're developing with no participation from the community. And they have denied the community the right to participate in the decision-making process. Okay. And that's really a constitutional thing that they've done. And they're saying that Darrell Clarke and Temple is in with it. So, but we want to know how can they do it without the community? And when they're millionaires.
Yeah, understood. What's next? Let's talk about what's next for your organization. We spoke a little bit about what you need to continue to grow, but let's talk about what's next. What are you headed down the pipe?
Well, we're headed to make this go all over the entire city, not just North Philadelphia.
Right.
And we hope that we make an example here in Philadelphia for other cities in the United States become sustainable. Okay. And to let people know that the community is not sleeping, that we are fully awake.
Fully awake and participating.
That's correct.
Yeah, understood. Thanks again for joining us for this segment of Pleasant Perspectives. Vivian Van Story, you've heard her story. Definitely please jump on her website, give her a phone call, check out her organization, because she's all about making your city and your neighborhoods a better place to live and be. I'm Michael W. Pleasant, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks a lot.